What's up guys, welcome back to my channel Anime Fiction. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto Was the Immortal King of X-Men Part 2. And if you did enjoy the video, give this a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell from crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Fourth chapter. Rogue entered her house, which appeared strange to her now. She was conflicted. Even if it was rational, leaving a loved one was difficult. Anna, mother, Rogue said as she turned to face Irene, a middle-aged woman with short brown hair who was dressed in a green shirt, blue trousers, and black shades to conceal her white eyes.
"Come, let us talk over tea, we have a lot to cover," Irene said softly. Anna was her little girl. Even though she had trained Anna for the Brotherhood of Mutants, she had feelings.
She had loved Anna and Raven for decades and was concerned about the future she had seen. A future laden with murder and danger for her family.
Rogue nodded and led Irene to the kitchen, where they sat.
Irene sat down and poured herself a cup of hot tea. "I apologize for keeping so many secrets from you, but please know that I consider you to be my daughter."
"Why do you support them when they are a danger to themselves and others?" Rogue asked, looking at the cup in her fingers. "It's not easy to explain because, as you know, my life had been dynamic in the past. I wasn't always like this, and it's what led to my choices." Irene added, "I have suffered at the hands of humans, and I can see a future where anti-mutant organizations hunt us down like wild animals."
"I can sense when a person is lying," Rogue said as she stared her in the eyes. "It had to be Naruto's power, and Mother can see into the future. I believe your words, but I'd like to see things through neutral eyes because I've never been a part of this world." "No problem, but do you really trust this man? Haven't you just met him? I hope it's not because you were smitten by him." Rogue swiftly rejected the accusation, saying, "No, no way.
"I just feel safe around him. He is a good person, and even though he is insensitive, he completely understands me. He has been through worse, and I absorbed his powers. I need his help to control them because it is extremely difficult to adjust to them now. I feel like everything is too fragile, and if I'm not careful, I'll break them." Rogue responded calmly and with a tranquil smile, indicating that she was extremely comfortable with him as he took her out of her shell. "I see, then it is good. I hope you are happy with this choice. I will support whatever you choose, and remember to come back here when you have time and give me a call every day." Irene answered as she stood up and hugged Rogue from behind. "I will," Rogue answered cheerfully. Jean approached Charles's study and knocked on the door. "Come in." Jean walked in and found the professor, as usual, reading. He turned to face her and inquired calmly, despite the fact that she knew she had failed.
"How was it?" "I failed, an alien being interfered," Jean said, standing in front of him.
"He couldn't have been an enemy if you're here unscathed, but why did he interfere?" "He seemed like a nice guy who just wanted to help the young girl. He had met her before we arrived and seemed to have made a connection. The girl chose him over us, but he told her to attend the school so we can see her tomorrow." Jean explained while giving an unbiased answer as she had been irritated by Naruto's antics.
"Oh, that's fine, but the man will appear again tomorrow. What is his danger level?"
"I don't think I stand a chance against him. If he was an enemy, we'd be dead. He was casual in his actions, and when he said to be good, I felt death breath down my neck.
He was serious when he threatened to obliterate us if we broke his rules." Jean trembled at the remembrance since it was her first time being in the path of such thick bloodlust.
"I see that would be really difficult to handle, but he is an outsider with such great power that the Sorcerer Supreme must have met him already. We shouldn't have much trouble, so we will welcome them tomorrow," Charles replied with a smile. He could have shared with the Avengers, but he didn't trust them because they stood too closely with humans and ignored their crimes.
Jean nodded but didn't intend to leave as she fixed her attention on him. "Charles, is there something wrong with my power? Why would you ask that? He said I have a seal within me. Was he lying or is there something else?"
Charles came to a halt for a time as he recalled the terrifying day he met Jean. She had been harmed by a flood of thoughts and feelings around her, which triggered a powerful reaction and caused the building to explode. Her parents, like many other families in the neighborhood, died instantly. Only by the combined efforts of Charles and Magneto were they able to keep her calm and save the people. She had been harmed by other people's feelings and pain, and this violence caused her even more pain as she felt all they had felt.
Charles was able to assist her by persuading her to lock the power with his assistance, and he had gradually attempted to teach her control so that one day it may be unlocked even though a horrible memory lay outside the gate.
It is the truth. You are old enough to understand. I sealed your powers when we met because they were out of control and causing mistakes.
I'm not sure if you're ready, but I'll respect your decision and assist you to the best of my ability, Charles explained.
He said he could help me. Could you speak with him?
Did he? Charles asked cheerfully. Of course, I will do my best to get help for you, my child. Thank you for being honest, Charles, and good night. I know you stay awake, so please sleep for us. I will, Charles replied, deeply moved by his eldest student's concern. Except for the supernatural, an orbital space station traveled around in space, unknown to the inhabitants below.
It was known as Asteroid M, and it served as the headquarters of the Brotherhood of Mutants leader. Magneto sat in his chair, dissatisfied, as he heard the news about the tragedy. He disliked being variable and disliked being controlled.
An outsider with unknown strength, a true annoyance. Will he sabotage my plans? Most probable from his remarks, and it appears death will be the result. Magneto reflected as he planned to seize the nuclear weapons and unleash them on humanity.
That will be inconvenient, but is he genuinely powerful enough? Magneto wondered, but there was no evidence.
Let us observe and test him out, Magneto grumbled, recalling Charles's brother, Juggernaut.
Wanda, also known as Scarlet Witch, kept an eye on her savior, who appeared to be hatching some sinister schemes. She was grateful, but she didn't want him to do evil, and she wasn't one of the wicked mutants yet. I hope he would quit antagonizing humans and live quietly. We could live up here and no one would bother us, Wanda thought as she moved away to find her brother. Naruto jumped up from his bed, invigorated as Hinata's wonderful shape was plastered to him, and his desire grew swiftly once more. If it weren't for the gravity of the issue, Naruto might not have even gotten out of bed during his honeymoon week.
Naruto's eyes blazed golden from the energy escaping from his body as he was overwhelmed with a burning yearning.
He had been gone for so long the night before that Hinata was still sleeping, unlike her regular self, who would have awoken before him.
With his limited time control skills, he had extended the period and delayed time in their room, implying that days had passed for them.
It didn't bother them because they were both effectively eternal and could never age. Naruto placed his hand on her abdomen and gave her gentle kisses as his hands slipped to her thighs and ass, admiring his voluptuous body that was available to his enjoyment without any covering. Hinata opened her eyes with a joyful smile, allowing him the opportunity to continue with this undisguised yearning. With that, it became a two-way battle that lasted 2 hours plus an hour in the bath.
Naruto finished his love treat and left Hinata to explore the area as he went to the mutants. To avoid surprising his hosts, he walked through a portal and escorted Rogue from her former home to Mutant College.
Naruto and Rogue exited the vortex and appeared in the playground. Naruto's presence was concealed as usual, but he did not conceal Rogue so that they would be aware.
Good morning, Rogue, Naruto said cheerfully. Rogue turned to Naruto and found him wearing the same outfit as the previous time, but she wasn't to judge because she hadn't changed and had many of the same costumes as well. His expression suggested that he was a little happier. Rogue knew he was difficult to read because he didn't exhibit his feelings, yet the little connection told her otherwise. He must have had some, she thought, and she felt embarrassed. Good morning to you as well. I hope you had a good night's sleep. Haha. You're a precious child, aren't you? I didn't think you'd ask. But yes, I had good dreams. Naruto chuckled as he slapped her back friendly. He did have really fantastic dreams, so good that he stayed awake all night.
I am 21, you know, and you hardly seem older, Rogue stated, expressing her displeasure at being treated like a child, especially by someone her own age. I may be 27 physically, but I have lived like thousands of years mentally through a skill, and you know my life has always been dynamic, making me grow faster. Am I wrong, or do you think we are similar at similar stages of maturity? Naruto replied with a teasing smile as his gaze moved away from Rogue to Charles, then to the vessel of power, Jean. Welcome to my humble abode and institution. My name is Charles Xavier, and first presume you were Rogue and Naruto, Charles remarked warmly. Rogue turned around, nervously looking at the newcomer. She knew from Naruto's remarks that this person could read her mind. He appeared to be harmless and friendly, but she never trusted folks unless they were proven to be so.
Nice to meet you as well, Charles. Nice place you got here, though I assume it would have been much better to just mind control people in power and find an island to live on for the mutants. Would have been a much better option than this.
The place isn't really protected much and is open to land and aerial assault, Naruto observed the place and Charles. This was a habit because he had been a military leader for so long that he always considered such things while choosing on a location for real estate. I could do that, but it would turn me into the enemy that humans fear, and while the suggestion is logical, I cannot remove these children from their families. They are humans, after all, with feelings and desires. Building an island and only living with mutants will be difficult because there aren't many, and many things would have to be sacrificed that these children lack qualities for. Right, but sometimes it's better to push through for safety, or do you think some enjoyment is better than their lives? Naruto said, nodding and looking him in the eyes. Why do you insist on pushing through with this angle? I want to know what you think, and I want her to hear what you have to say. So, Charles, there is danger out there, but you choose to stay here. What have you done to protect them? Danger exists for everyone, including humans, so do you want them to hide somewhere? I do not want these children to be cowards or to hide like a plague. They deserve to live normally, and we will not hide away but fight for those rights, as those before us have done. Plus, we train them all to protect themselves, and I do not hold back on anyone attempting to harm my children. The X-Men exist to protect mutants and humans, so it is one step taken for protection, Jean explained, adding that she didn't mind Naruto probing Charles because he liked being questioned and she wanted to listen. I like your answer. I dislike cowards, but always take the logical step and do not be taken by the feelings involved. Unlike humans, you can always hide away, so think of it once things become too dangerous. Always have contingencies, so scout a place and prepare it for emergencies, or in difficult situations everything will go down in flames.
I'll consult with my team, and Jean, show Rogue around.
Jean nodded, motioning for Rogue to follow. Rogue had listened closely since it was for her sake, and she agreed with Charles that she wouldn't want to be completely cut off from society, but Naruto wasn't incorrect, and she knew danger was out there, but there were some things worth fighting for.
Am I willing to battle for my rights and freedom? So you want to know if I can help Jean? Naruto said as he watched the females walk away, his stare nonchalant as always, and despite Jean's tight-fitting attire, Naruto's gaze hardly met her except for her inner being.
Yes, we would appreciate it. But you don't completely believe me, which is a good thing because I haven't done anything worthwhile. There is a power lock inside Jean, and then there is a great amount of untapped power that is not beneficial for the world if Jean cannot manage it. It would be horrible if the seal broke in a critical circumstance and she ended up murdering everyone.
I can help her because my powers are superior to hers, and I can keep everything under control, Naruto said as they went carefully towards the building, while curious youngsters looked on. I can't tell if that was a lie or the truth, so we'll have to decide after we've known each other for a while, Charles remarked as his mind raced through numerous thoughts. It was difficult when you couldn't read a person and had such bait to bite.
He was aware of the threat that Jean posed, and he expected that power to be ridiculous at the time. She was an Omega-level mutant, which meant she had the power to change the world, yet Naruto dismissed it as insignificant. How powerful is he? Why is he assisting us? Is it genuine benevolence or something more sinister? Charles was used to a hard life and had seen so much that it was difficult for him to trust anyone without reading their minds.
It was wrong, but he owed it to these kids. Death could take him, but they needed to be secure. I understand. Let's get to know each other better, Naruto said, smiling as he looked at Kurt, who was watching him from a distance. How do you feel about this? Jean asked as she walked Rogue around the structure, while the mutants looked on.
I'm not sure. This is all new, but it won't change the fact that I can't touch people, so I guess it'll end up the same, Rogue responded, looking about at the rooms and the people she walked by with weird talents.
Jean didn't press the issue because she could tell Rogue was pessimistic and only results would convince her otherwise. I won't say everything will be fine, but the kids here will not judge you for your power because it is a natural gift.
Thank you. I'll try not to be so antisocial, but don't expect me to be a social butterfly, Rogue said with a tiny smile, sensing a slight shift in the people's feelings. They were inquisitive rather than judgmental in the way that humans had been.
They're used to being discriminated against, so I suppose they wouldn't want to be like their tormentors. If you don't mind my asking, how did you meet him?
He just appeared, and then I met you guys. Do you put your trust in him?
I do, because he has no use for me. Why would you think that? It's personal. What kind of mutation is that? Rogue stayed silent because it affected Naruto's memories, which she had witnessed but no longer possessed. It had given her insight into his personality, so she wasn't concerned that he wanted her for more than just company. I can't say. You'll have to ask him directly. Kurt, the new recruit wants to talk to you, Jean said to the blue youngster who had teleported away after Naruto had looked at him with those eyes that seemed to see right through him.
Not many of your kind here. Do you want me to round them up for you? Mumbled Naruto as he sat on the office sofa like it was his own. Charles didn't take offense because he was used to weird people, and Wolverine acted like way even when he admired Charles. He is obviously not a bad person, and his manners show that he is someone of importance, but he continues to be pleasant even while part of his other side seeps through. He must be a leader of some sort or someone in an important position, Charles said. I've been called a variety of names, including Charles, Monster, Demon, Abomination, Hero, Savior, Chosen One, Lord Seventh, and finally the Immortal King. What would you want to call me? Naruto said with a smile as he sat on the sofa, looking at him with a teasing expression. Charles was taken aback since he had never been read by others so openly and without resistance, and all of these titles presented a picture of a hard history, which was not to be anticipated from a smiling face.
Are the titles getting better over time on purpose, or are they just in random order?
People used to call me such bad names because of my birth, but some people still call me those names in their hearts. I am their king, and I took them to the golden era, but humans are never pleased, and there is always someone who dislikes you, so I still have some people who disagree with me.
Charles agreed with him and glanced at him as his comments had changed from humorous to serious and peaceful.
Why, I wonder why, Naruto said with a smile. As he remembered Jean's comments, Charles realized he had slain their loved ones, and the survivors cursed him.
I appreciate your candor. What are your thoughts on our school?
I still dislike school, but as a leader, I believe it is a good place to be because there aren't many other professional options.
Just that it would be preferable if you simply took over the human leader's head or relocated it to a distant land. That is something I can easily arrange for you, and you could keep someone here to bring them to the island and look for your people. I'll remember that. Any other feedback? Charles took his remarks seriously, despite the fact that the first option had irritated him yet again, but the second had been modified this time.
When I have time, I will assist you in teaching the children. My eyes can see through people's potential, allowing me to safely push them to the limits of their power. In addition, I have constructed a barrier that will keep anyone with malicious intent at bay.
I would have designed it to kill, but I don't think you'd appreciate dead bodies outdoors or on your conscience. I am sincerely grateful for this assistance, Naruto, Charles said, resisting the temptation to speak out against his violent and homicidal actions.
No problem, I like to help, but please warn them that I don't like to cuddle. They will become strong and endure significant suffering, or they should not walk to my class, Naruto remarked solemnly, his eyes sparkling golden. Our children are not cowards, and they will be given the opportunity to choose. So, let us meet some probable prospects. Charles could tell Naruto was serious and deadly, but Wolverine wasn't either.
The two walked to the underground training area, where Scott was sparring with Wolverine while Kitty and Bobby watched. Too slow, too linear, Wolverine grumbled as his claws approached Cyclops' neck.
Scott was about to attack as his rage from losing grew, but he was stopped by Charles. What brought you here, Charles? Who is the brunette? Wolverine took a step back and peered at the pair.
He is both a new friend and a new teacher for our students. Naruto Uzumaki, known as the Immortal King, at your service. I have decided to help you out in my spare time, Especially since I see some potential in you guys, Naruto remarked as he looked around the field.
Charles. Scott went to his teacher to substantiate his assertions, which sounded far-fetched. He is from another world, as he stated, and is an immortal being with great power. He has told me that teaching various types of mutants is not out of his league, and he intends to assist us in recognizing our issues. He may appear young, but keep in mind that he is your senior. Charles responded genuinely based on his impression developed during their brief conversation.
Naruto wasn't going to tell him his life narrative, but he did mention some of his skills and abilities when he talked about topics.
I'm not going to claim to be the best teacher in the world or anything, but I am better than anyone you could expect. I am a true master of the combat arts, having honed my skills through daily bouts in many terrains against a wide range of opponents over many years. Unlike you, I have numerous abilities, and even if I don't, I can probably help you with it.
I can assist you, but I will prioritize those that want to achieve the ultimate state. My training is rigorous, but it ensures success with no casualties or damage. I see you're having trouble wrapping your head around this concept, so how about you all fight me? It should demonstrate my abilities, but don't worry, I'll be nice with you. Naruto stated in a calm manner, going around them, taking in their features while providing a welcoming feeling. Are you serious, or do you think we're making a joke? Logan grumbled, looking at the man who appeared strong in a human way but nothing remarkable. He was a long-lived individual who had spent millennia on this planet due to his capacity to regenerate.
Throughout the years, he had encountered monsters of all types, creatures that could rip persons apart, monsters that could rip buildings apart, monsters that could rip cities apart, and monsters that could fracture the country itself.
He'd fought them and always come away alive. His survival and skill were among the greatest in the world.
People forget that just because he appeared like a wild goon, his battle experience was tremendous, and scarcely anyone could fight him if their numbers were comparable, especially because of his adamantium, which allowed him to kill anyone beyond his pay grade. On the other side was Cyclops, a young man with human strength but a mutant trait that allowed him to shoot beams of pure energy from his eyes. They varied in strength depending on how much Cyclops focused, and the strongest beam he had released had caused a huge gash over numerous city blocks up to now. Kitty Pryde, also known as Shadow Cat, was a young woman with the capacity to become intangible and even make others intangible by touching them. She was one of the most deadly persons present since she could drag someone below and make them solid again, killing them. Finally, there was Bobby, also known as Iceman, who possessed the capacity to freeze anything around him over a wide area. I never make fun of anyone unless I'm trying to mess with your heads, Logan. With only one look, I can tell you everything about your ability. You can't genuinely fight me since I can cancel out everything you have. Try it out, there's nothing to lose, and if you win, I'll leave, Naruto said calmly as he wrapped his arm around Cyclops. Logan sensed him release his aura and, for the first time, recognized his true presence. Bloody hell, the blonde bastard was messing with us. Logan had animalistic instincts that told him whether he was in danger or not, and prior to this, he hadn't sensed anything from Naruto because Naruto didn't want people to sense him, so they could only use their normal senses. He's the real deal, all of you. Don't be afraid to treat him like Magneto, Logan instructed as their teacher, despite the fact that Cyclops was the true head of the team. Because Cyclops lacked fighting expertise, Logan acted as the commander for the time being while they prepared to fight.
Outside of battle, Cyclops commanded the team because he had been trained to do so and because of his brilliance.
Is this his instinct again? Scott wondered as he heard those words and felt the tension in his shoulders dissipate as Naruto appeared far away from them.
Charles was likewise teleported away from the center and kept a close eye on them, since he was used to watching combat to better his team's skills.
Because he was unable to participate in combat, his mind functioned at a higher level, allowing him to provide this assistance to the children. All right, I'm ready. Let's play, kids, Naruto said, clapping his hands and walking slowly towards them.
They intended to send him flying even if he had the strength to repel the beam, but Scott felt himself slipping as ice materialized beneath him and a rock pillar rose, smacking him in the belly. Naruto materialized in front of him and grabbed his arm, turning him around and directing him toward Iceman.
Logan charged at him, but Naruto slid through as he skated on the ground, avoiding Iceman's ice rays.
Naruto accelerated and kicked Bobby in the head, crashing him to the ground, while Cyclops launched a laser at his back as he landed safely.
But it missed again as Naruto slid to the side and skated towards him, the ground around him rising and catching his legs.
Naruto raised his arm and punched forward, sending Logan, who had emerged in his path, hurtling into Cyclops. The earth beneath them turned to fast sand, and they began to sink as they lacked the strength to escape. Bobby tried to aid them but became frozen, while Kitty was the saddest of them all because she had been caught in the air since the beginning but no one had noticed because she had become invisible.
How did you find it? Should another round be held? Naruto cancelled his powers, and they all looked at him with respect. They weren't afraid of him because they were combat-hardened individuals, but this battle was one of the worst. Not even Magneto had been this horrible, and even adding Jean and Colossus to the mix wouldn't have changed anything. You weren't kidding when you said you wanted to play with us. I need a drink. You freaks make life difficult for us honest people, Logan grumbled as he stood up and took out a cigar, agitated by being fodderized. Naruto hadn't hurt him, but being taken out of the fight meant a loss in a true combat. How are you going to accept responsibility for hurting my fragile heart? Naruto inquired as he approached Logan.
Logan felt Naruto's grip on his paw as the man squeezed. What the fuck are you doing?
Just testing something. This thing is definitely exceptional, Naruto said as his fingers were severed by the force but soon reattached. His hand, which would not be injured even if the globe burst, was chopped so effortlessly, demonstrating the strength of this metal. Naruto wasn't his old self anymore because his basic form was the Otsutsuki body he got from a Shiki, which had been trained to the extremes so he never needed to power up and should have the power of a core member, according to Kagaya. But because he wasn't an Otsutsuki, he only had 2 power-ups, Sage Mode, which allowed him to use the power of the planet to make himself invincible, and Kurama.
He wasn't sure if he could beat a prince, but Naruto was clearly an elder of the Otsutsuki clan. With a single punch or kick, his physical form could smash planets, and his strongest ninjutsu could wipe the whole solar system, while his basic jutsu could destroy stars. But that was just his power, and, like in the past, he didn't have a weapon that could adapt to his abilities. His absence of a weapon never disturbed him, yet it was a bad thing because all circumstances needed to be covered. Don't touch it so carelessly, my claws can cut through anything in this world.
Is that correct? Naruto smiled as he looked deep into the structure of the metal in order to reproduce it.
His eyes could see the smallest particles, and with his ability to make all things, he could construct anything he desired if he knew its structure.
Naruto kept the info in his thoughts and chose to create the metal ladder since he didn't want to share his secrets with strangers. Master, please teach me, Bobby said, clutching his frozen leg. He was the Iceman, how could anyone freeze him? Relax, I'm going to teach you all. I see a lot of potential in you guys, Naruto stated as he approached Cyclops.
Scott didn't comprehend what the man was saying, but he had already acknowledged him, so he was willing to put his trust in him. How come you haven't fixed his eyes yet? Naruto stated as he drew Scott closer to him.
We do not have the ability or technology to solve his problem, Charles said, but he was pleased that Naruto was taking action to assist Scott. Well, kid, you have a powerful ability but no control, just like me. I will give you control, but you must first conquer the mental impediment that is limiting your power. You can utilize the beam to murder people, or you can just blast off their limbs. They'll be fine with that, Naruto said, touching Scott's face as the young guy hovered in front of him. Scott was wrapped in golden chakra as he felt all of his injuries heal and the warmth spread throughout his body. The comfort was too enticing for him and he simply wanted to sleep, but it ended abruptly and he was pulled back to reality. How do you feel right now? If you want to push yourself, you can do it. Push this body of mine to its limits. No matter how difficult or long it is, Naruto said into Scott's ears as he lay on the grounding, trying to catch his breath. Could you please stop talking like that? Scott asked, finding the double talk offensive. What are you thinking, kid? Charles, this kid is a perv. Taking things out of context so easily. Naruto turned to Charles before returning to Scott. I'll stand here, and you hit me with everything you've got, okay? Naruto said as he pushed Scott back a few paces. Scott stood up and turned to face Charles. He was used to doing this with Wolverine, so he didn't think it would make a difference. Take off the visor, whispered Naruto, as Scott unconsciously removed it, shooting a concentrated beam towards Naruto. Not good enough. Still holding back. If you're scared even after I told you I'm immortal, don't mind if I do this. Scott felt his body move without his authority, the beam becoming stronger and stronger, the load on his thoughts increasing, and a headache forming. For 3 minutes, it became darker and stronger before knocking Scott out. Thank you for not interfering. You see, he already has great power at his disposal, and with my assistance, it can grow even stronger. The beam, at its current best, could have split the entire city in half or traveled 4 times the distance to the center of the moon if he shot at it from close range.
Wolverine was astonished by his remarks because he had been taking them head-on and had never taken such damage, while Bobby was proud of his role model.
He'll be fine, Ice Boy, and now it's your turn. You stand out among these people because your body is merely a vehicle that does not need to be whole. Look at me and see what you're capable of, Naruto demonstrated as his body transformed into energy and dispersed around them before reforming. He had reminded them yet again of how unjust his existence was, as they only had one ability while he was filled with several. But that didn't matter because Bobby was overjoyed because this skill was so wonderful and meant he was impossible to kill. Are you sure? I have this amazing skill. Of course, you should all forget what humans are like, because none of you are like them. Bobby, believe me, I know you can do it. Your abilities work on a molecular level. Your body isn't that important and can be reformed. I can detect if someone will die by bodily damage or other means, and your physique demonstrates the criteria for a soul attack. Meaning, harming your body will not kill you, Naruto stated, his palm glowing as he pointed to Bobby. Bobby watched his palm shining and felt panic grip his body. He now knew the man was strong and that if he wanted, he could kill all of them with a single blow. Bobby's body shook as he stared at his hand. Do you believe me? If you reach out your hand to me, I will shatter it and compel your body to wake up. Danger is the most effective approach to compel the body to demonstrate its capabilities. Logan remained silent since he knew Naruto could cure them if anything went wrong, and this was Bobby's decision. Bobby felt his usefulness had been reduced after looking at Logan and then at Scott, who had just earned a power-up.
He gritted his teeth, realizing the only threat was minor discomfort because the man could heal him.
I will do it. Bobby stretched his hand and didn't notice it was gone until it was gone.
The right had evaporated in the flash of an eye, and he knew his power had activated automatically, slowly regenerating on his arm. Bobby was astounded by his own powers.
Do not be surprised. This is nothing. We will endeavor to improve your freezing skill. This temperature is unsatisfactory. We must at least reach a -100 and strive towards absolute zero.
With that, he had piqued their curiosity and explained his combat method to Kitty, who possessed comparable talents to Obito and fought using chains.
Naruto gave her the choice of chains, a spear, or a sword so she could battle from a distance and attack the adversaries' insides, which were the weakest portion of anyone.
Kitty's eyes sparkled as she was shown the 3 combat methods. Her power was valuable, but she scarcely contributed to any fights.
Thank you for your assistance, Naruto. We look forward to your guidance and will always be available if you require any assistance, Charles said, adding that Naruto was the perfect instructor because he possessed all of the abilities these kids possessed, so his experience was personal, and he showed them real-life examples rather than theory. No problem, I enjoy assisting. When Naruto emerged behind Rogue and Jean on the roof, they were looking down on the area and enjoying the scenery.
How is the location? It's fine. The people seem nice. What were your thoughts? Rogue replied, surprised that he was carrying an adorable fox with him, which didn't suit his personality.
It's fine and even enjoyable. I'm considering teaching here. Will I be training here or elsewhere? I will personally train you, but you are welcome to fight the kids here as well. It will be better for them, and you will make friends and learn how to work as part of a team. You'll learn to fight like a well-oiled machine in situations where going one-on-one isn't the best option.
Rogue nodded, noticing a golden fox on his head, which was also staring at her.
Human, what are you looking at? Have you ever seen a fox?
Rogue screamed inwardly, but kept her expression neutral since it would betray her image.
Hey, don't surprise others like that, bro. Rogue, this is my everlasting partner and brother, on whom you can rely when needed. His name is Kurama, and he is the cutest thing ever, Naruto said as he embraced him. Rogue blinked, thinking it was a dream, but it was not. Even my dreams made more sense than this. She had never expected Naruto to act this way because he appeared so high class, and even though he was personable, this was unusual.
With these traits, he must have attracted a lot of people. I never expected a ruler to be that pleasant.
Rogue smiled as she felt happy in his presence. It had only been a day since they met, but the energy absorption incident had brought them closer, and if she had kept the memories, she might have been the closest to him.
Regardless of the loss, Rogue had a favorable aura for him, and he had established himself as her first friend, the one in whom she decided to believe. I will help you for the assistance you provided, Rogue mumbled, causing him to chuckle. Do whatever you want, but how will you assist me? Naruto repositioned Kurama on his head as the fox decided to nap, and he found her words very interesting.
He could tell she trusted him, but she probably didn't comprehend what she was saying when she claimed she'd help him. You already know, so just like you said, I am here and you can always talk to me. I see. I'll leave now, so see you later, girls, Naruto said as he walked away, disappearing within steps. Naruto was telepathically communicating with Jean while speaking with Rogue.
Hello, Jean. I heard you're okay with my interfering. I'll work on your case later, but do you think you'll be able to handle it? Pain will be the least of your worries.
Thank you for providing us with a choice. I will take it. I can guarantee success, but it will not be painless. Your body isn't used to the power, so it will be very painful at first. You may experience your head bursting and your nervous system breaking down. These are the things that may happen, but you will come out fine, and we can finally begin your training. I respect your concerns, but I don't believe they will persuade me, yet you want to train me, why? Because you'll need it and I have some time, she says. There's also a personal motive, like you might wind up helping me out, so I want you the strength to do it well.
Well, you're not wrong, and as a friend, I would absolutely give a helping hand to you.
Thank you for your trust, and I hope you will think positively as I coach you. Jean heard his giggle and noticed him smile at them both before disappearing. That smile was very appealing. Hinata had been glancing about the country as Naruto dealt with the mutants, noting anything unusual. The information was organized into several categories, but she was especially interested in the scientific research of mortals and extraordinary power users.
They had shown to be useful, according to her observations.
Throughout her journey, she did not forget to assist those in need, and the public only saw a violet beam everywhere she assisted.
She didn't judge anyone unless they were being raped, and she only cut holes in their limbs.
However, her flight seemed to have grabbed the attention of someone, as she found herself confronted by a huge monster, a man with blonde hair, a solidly muscular body of 190 centimeters height, blue eyes, and a yellow spandex with red cape.
According to the information she had obtained, he was known as Sentry and was one of the planet's most powerful heroes.
Hinata came to a halt in her flight while wearing a violet Tensagen cloak that was barely visible and appeared to be leaking energy from her body. Can you tell me who you are? Sentry inquired, hovering only a few meters away from the mysterious object.
He could see that she was a gorgeous woman with light eyes, but her acts were anything but light.
She'd just crippled several people beneath them, and he couldn't halt the attack because it was moving faster than the speed of light.
It didn't matter to him, but he couldn't move at such high speeds within the city or it would be destroyed. Hinata Uzumaki, I believe you should be acquainted with my husband. How can I assist you? Hinata questioned calmly, her violet floral patterned eyes looking at him without the dread or trepidation that most people would show when confronted with the Sentry.
Are you his wife, Naruto Uzumaki? Sentry remembered hearing Tony's report of a new being entering their world from Spider-Man, but it didn't mention a wife. Yes, we were planning on visiting your team later, so if you don't have anything urgent, please excuse me.
Anyone would agree just by hearing her charming voice, but Sentry wasn't having it. Why did you handicap them?
They were criminals caught in the act. Or do you want to let people who were going to murder someone else go free? Hinata responded and inquired calmly, believing that her actions were justified. People learned quickly when fear was present, and punishment was rapid and brutal.
Sentry felt that because their ideals were so different, she would never comprehend him. She wasn't incorrect, but she could have easily repressed them. Folks can change, and these folks were about to face a tough life with one of their arms removed in the sinner's mark on their heads. You are an outsider. This land has laws, and you are not above them. It was the legal system's responsibility, not yours, to administer the punishment.
Disappointing. What? I told you you were disappointing. Humph, a coward who refuses to accept responsibility for the road he has chosen. Do you also inquire with your mother, sweetheart, if you are permitted to play with other children?
Her tone was lofty, yet her words were absolutely mocking.
Are you going to stop her? It is part of my noblesse oblige to help the innocent, so I will continue to help, but I will change my ways because I do not want any conflict between us. Know that I have no respect for cowards. Hinata flew away from him, making him feel ashamed and irritated.
She had acted arrogantly and looked down on him without regard for his circumstances. These guys are going to cause trouble, and what is she doing? Sentry trailed behind her to ensure she kept her pledge, but remained a safe distance. What will you do now, Naruto? Look around, I want to see what the people have to offer. How about a test? You need to rest, and Hinata is on it, so you can take some time off, especially since you've already identified several possible battle contenders.
Well, let's see. So, what do you want to do in 2 hours? Hit on any girl that I choose. Have you gone insane, Kurama? I'll inform Hinata that you require brain surgery.
HMPH, drop the high-class act. You're just afraid you won't be able to pull it off. Hinata won't object if you get another woman in the first place, and I only stated that to get them attracted, not to go to that stage. Kurama responded with a smirk. You're in. So, what do I get? What exactly do you want? Nothing really, but if I win, you have to act like a fox for a week. Naruto smiled as he landed and cancelled the invisibility. We'll see, Kurama responded with a smirk, confident that the type of woman he had chosen would not tolerate him. Your loss, Naruto said, smiling because he had just gotten some girls with his figure and charisma.
He was outgoing and thoughtful, the ideal type of person to hang out with regardless of age. Who's the mother-flipping king of games? I'm the mother-flipping king of games. No need to celebrate so much. I thought you might have lost touch with your base skill and didn't expect sluts to actually like you genuinely. Kurama had chosen the type of ladies Naruto despised, and the girls despised him for his statements. They slept around with little regard for anything other than pleasure, while Naruto lectured them on the dangers of doing so and how it was humiliating to themselves to do so.
He will never stop surprise others, despite the fact that he ended up talking a gaggle of whores out of their sluttery in one day.
Talk no jutsu will always be the most hazardous skill. No one has ever survived its effect, Kurama reflected as he was pleased with the outcome.
It wasn't much. I've dealt with worse, and people are easy to deal with if you learn to read them.
That's correct, but most people won't be able to do it. It's your distinct talent.
Yeah, one I will always be grateful for. Look, our new acquaintance is out on a date. What if we just crash it?
Sometimes you can be so evil. Let's do it, Kurama said as the two sat atop a high-rise building in New York.
Naruto pointed at Kurt, who was walking along with a girl. I hope I'm not bothering your date, bro. Kurt's skin became chilly, his pulse rate accelerated as he turned to face the blonde man, unconsciously putting himself between his girlfriend and Naruto. Does he know me? His girlfriend Amanda Sefton inquired. She was a normal human but one full of outer and inner beauty. But that was merely her disguise, as Amanda was no ordinary human, and Kurt was no ordinary mutant. She was a mage, and she had known Kurt since childhood, when he was a member of the circus. Her brother and Kurt were circus performers, but they split up when Amanda joined her mother. Now she was here with him, but Kurt didn't know her backstory and had only met her on a blind date. Amanda loved him, but she was still weighing whether or not to take vengeance on him because he had murdered her brother.
She didn't know the circumstances and couldn't question him directly, so she was observing his everyday life. If he was a murdering monster, he'd strike again, but 3 months of dating had only revealed a kind man with a horrible past that tormented him. A friend, yes. How may I assist you, teacher? Kurt remarked, looking at Naruto with skepticism. The man had made a light-hearted introduction, and he wasn't sure what he intended to accomplish here. He didn't like surprises. Kurt, relax, I just want to get to know you better, Naruto said, feeling curious. Is this the right time? Kurt said, turning away from Amanda. Of course, now is the time. My gleaming beauty will enhance your occasion. Don't you simply want to ruin it? Trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. Because you are fairly reserved, I will show you how to lead a relationship. Naruto smacked his back and returned his attention to Amanda.
Kurt was surprised by the response. I may have been too quick in my judgment, but how is he going to help?
Amanda, this is Naruto Uzumaki, my teacher. You wouldn't mind if we showed him around. Kurt turned to Amanda, who looked at them with bright blue eyes and her long blonde hair tossed by the wind.
I don't mind, Amanda said with a smile that warmed Kurt's heart. She was his first love, and he had never felt anything like this for anyone else. He believed they were destined to be.
Naruto saw a disaster when he glanced at the couple because he could read the memories without even trying, therefore the picture was plain to him. Amanda was in disguise. She loved Kurt but kept her feelings hidden as she tried to figure out why he killed her brother.
She is not normal, Naruto observed as he gazed at the young witch.
Thank you. I will do my best to help you in any way I can, Naruto stated with a soft smile as he gazed at the two. Look, there's Spider-Man. Kurt let out an inward scream as they saw the Green Goblin followed by Spider-Man. How's it going, Spidey? Naruto inquired as he approached him. Wonderful. I believe this is quite a lovely day for one goblin ass whopping.
Great minds think in similar ways. Captain, do you require any assistance? I don't have much private information, but I would appreciate the civilians' safety.
Affirmative, Captain. The safety has been guaranteed. The ass whopping is about to begin. Peter chuckled as he avoided a bomb and tossed it in the air before advancing towards the victim. He had just finished his date with MJ when this happened for the nth time. The day was destroyed, but the man from yesterday appeared to know how to make him feel better.
Talking to him reduced his stress and allowed him to enjoy the fight because there was no longer any danger to the people.
Peter caught debris with his web, turned it around, and smashed it into the goblin, sending him tumbling into the trees of the nature park. Before he could get up, Peter caught his leg with his web and smashed him into the ground, then pounded his back with both legs.
Peter used the web to speed his descent after launching himself high into the air, and the impact created a crater. When there were no civilians participating, the combat was much easier.
Peter had finally apprehended his biggest enemy, and this time he was going to jail. Good fight. I'm impressed by such skills and without a teacher. Just Sabarashi, Naruto said as he stepped into the clearing with Kurt, who had transformed into his Nightcrawler form and had abandoned his human mask. Mutants were not universally despised, but the species faced discrimination, which was on the rise these days. Mutants were like other super beings, but they were detested since other supers were not natural and were few in number. However, mutants were a real species that was expanding in numbers. Nobody could survive among lions and tigers, and mutants were even worse. These anxieties were legitimate, and they were exacerbated by Magneto and fanatical pro-human organizations. The X-Men had managed to keep everything under control, but it was a precarious equilibrium that could collapse at any time.
As a result, someone like Kurt, who was clear but mutant or demon-like, had to conceal his look.
Thank you for your assistance and compliments. I hope my friends did not cause you any problems. Peter webbed Gigi and hanged him upside down in the tree before turning to them. I haven't met them yet, but I'll be paying them a visit today. Do you want to join us? No, I've got work to do. Knight, what are you doing with him?
You might not believe it, but he is now my teacher.
How did that happen, bro? Hey, he beat the shit out of everyone at school.
Sounds like an awesome introduction that I would love to hear about, but toodles for now.
Good guy, but he lacks focus, Naruto observed as he turned around. Really, you are correct, he's always acting hyperactive. Sometimes you just need someone else to point you in the right direction. I'll check in with him later because he's a nice kid and I appreciate his fighting technique. What about the date?
Yes, Naruto then teleported them near to Amanda's location. Thank you for being a nice person, Kurt said as he sat on the seat next Naruto with an apple drink in his hand. No problem. I enjoyed the company. It reminded me of old times, Naruto mumbled, remembering Sasuke and Sakura. But why me? Kurt was intrigued by Naruto's appearance. Luck and you are kind of like me. I don't see the similarity, Kurt said, turning his head and looking Naruto over from head to toe. There will be no blue skin and crap.
No, hee. I'm referring to personality. Are you sure? Unbelievable, Kurt exclaimed as he heard something out of this planet. I don't need to witness your mediocre acting abilities, boy. Everyone changes with time, and you're talking to me without breaking down because I exude a tranquil aura. Naruto responded quietly. Does that mean I'm being brainwashed? No, it just means you don't believe I'll hurt you. It's a natural part of who I am.
So, what do you require of me? You are flawless and know everything. You simply taught me as if it were nothing. Kurt stated as he finished the drink and threw it away. It makes me feel like you have women hanging off you all the time with such skills.
Because friendship isn't based on give and take, simply enjoying each other's company is sufficient. Hey, I don't mind at all. I don't have many pals, so we'll see how things go. What do you like to do for fun? Kurt chuckled as he stood up. Many things you like and many things you don't like, Naruto responded, smiling broadly. Do you like giving evasive answers? Yes, it can be enjoyable at times. All right, let's just walk around and mess with people for a while. Ooh, nice, but let's postpone it to tomorrow. Playtime is over, and I need to get back to work, Naruto said, his face solemn. He then faded from view, leaving his new acquaintance hanging. To be continued.
This is the end for now, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. I hope you did enjoy the bit of the story, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.